What is going on, you guys? It is your boy Cyrus Obsidian here at Obsidian Games, here to bring you some more Yu-Gi-Oh content. So let us swing on in. So for the last couple of weeks, we have been piloting Rescue Ace. We were going to change it up a bit this week, but we were a little ill, so we did miss out on a couple locals. And our regional is tomorrow, so we are prepping for tonight to play in the regional tomorrow. And this time we ain't going to do some jank. We want to see topping victories. We're not going to go X4 again. We're going to hopefully go X2 and see if we can indeed get our invite, but we'll see. So we're sticking on theme with Rescue Ace, and we're going to take this list that we have upgraded since then to our locals to test it out tonight and stick with it tomorrow to see if we can do any better. But without further ado, let me show you the updated list and the changes that we've made and the reasoning why, and then we'll head out to locals. Alrighty, let's show you the deck profile that we have cooked up. So we have made some changes to this going into the regional and tonight's locals. We are playing 44 cards, which is something that I'm not comfortable with, but mathematically speaking, this should be a lot better to play for consistency. Starting out, we are playing 2 copies of Rescue Ace Hydrant. The Rescue Ace engine just changed a little bit, but we are still staying with some of the same numbers with 2 Turbulence, 2 Preventer. We are playing the 1 copy of Fire Engine and the 1 copy of Fire Attacker. So I think Fire Attacker gives us some valuable resources going second. Since we can't always win the die roll, Impulse into Fire Attacker, drawing to more resources is going to be really critical. We're still playing the 1 copy of Airlifter, and speaking of Impulse, we decided to keep 3 copies of it rather than playing the 2 like I originally wanted to, because of the reason of playing Fire Attacker and the Fire Engine going second. Those can be critical points in helping us get into our engine, funny enough, to just really turn the tide in our favor. We're still playing 3 copies of Emergency with the 1 HQ, 1 Rescue, 1 Alert, 1 Contain, and 1 Extinguish. We're trying to minimize playing as many 1-ofs as possible in the Rescue Ace. That's why we're not playing the 1 copy of Reinforce. Reinforce has some value, but we're wanting to not see these as much as possible in our starting hand and see some of the other cards that we do play, whether it's, well, pretty much the non-engine, to really kind of help us get into our engine, or even just hand traps going second. But that is our Rescue Ace engine, which changed just by 1 card. And then we're still playing the 2 copies of Diabell Star the Black Witch with 3 copies of Wanted, the 1 original, 3 copies of Bonfire. We did up the Bonfire back to 3 with the 1 Poplar, just for the sake of just seeing consistency as much as we can, so that way we can see original to get into our Hydrant. This being a 1 card starter, we should have been maxing out in the first place, and playing it at 44. The odds of seeing it are definitely a lot higher now that it is at 3. Same thing with the Wanted and Diabell Star. We're just going to hope that we never see the 1 copy of Poplar in our hand. And then support, we are playing still just the 1 copy of Rhoda, just because Rhoda is really good. And then going into our board breaker non-engine type cards, we are still playing 3 copies of Super Poly, just because I think Super Poly is really great at breaking boards right now. And then we're playing 3 copies of Ash, because it's just a really good hand trap. And then we're sticking with Effect Negation. So we're playing 3 copies of Effect Veiler and 3 copies of Imperm to help with that Effect Negation. And then the 1 copy of Called By, really to hit anything that can hurt us. Also getting rid of problematic threats that our opponent might be targeting, like their own Promethean or any other graveyard-like stuff. So that is our main. Our extra has not changed. We're still playing the 1 copy Mud Dragon, 1 copy of Garura, and the 1 Azamina Soul Erisithon. This will be interesting to see if it does come up this time around. If not, we will probably drop it for Salamangreat Almirage. But I'm keeping it right now just because there is an uptake in the Azamina engine. So there's that. We are playing the 1 Relinquished Anima, playing a copy of IP for 2 copies of SP Little Knight, the 1 Sunlight Wolf, 1 Dark, 1 Hita, the 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Promethean, 1 Zealantis, and the 1 Ambler Whale. So again, the extra deck has stayed the same. I think it is really consistent as it is. If I wanted to change things, it would probably be that Soul Asirathon. We could add another Super Poly target, like Yubel, the Loving Defender for the Yubel matchup, or even an access code talker for solidifying games. But for now, I think it's pretty good. Going to the side, this is where things are going to really matter the most. We are playing 3 copies of Nibiru with 3 copies of Droll and Lockbird. So I think Droll is going to be a really key point for a lot of decks that we're playing against, just because of the Mulcharmy cards. I bet those are going to see a huge uptake right as soon as we go into the regional, just because more people are willing to spend for it. So Droll is going to be really key at shutting them down right as soon as we can play through some of our combo lines. Then we got 3 copies of Triple Tactics Thrust, seeing the Mulcharmies. This card is always going to be live, which is going to let us search one of 3 copies of either a D-Barrier, a Different Dimension Ground, or a Threatening Roar. Because these 3 are going to be really key into certain matchups. Threatening Roar against the Templai matchup, Different Dimension Ground against the Snake Eye matchup, Yubel matchup, D-Barrier really for the Yubel, Centurion, and any other rogue type decks that can really utilize that. And then last but not least, the 3 copies of Evenly Matched for, again, going second, just because Evenly Matched, I think, is really strong going into this format, since there are a lot of like Omni-negate boards that are being made, and Evenly Matched can really just change the tempo of the game in our favor, so we're playing it as well. So that is it for this updated version of Rescue Ace. I am a little hesitant to play 44, but I think 44 is going to be what we need to really get into our topping tables, but we'll find out. So let's head out to locals and then our regional tomorrow, and we'll see how we do. All right, so here we are at Duke City the night before the regional, and we had 24 players show up for tonight. A lot of people late, you know, it's to be expected. Round 1, we play against Fire King Lyrilisk. We played against the deck before. Game 1, he wins the die roll, goes first. He's able to set up a board. We don't have any interruptions, hand traps. We do have Super Poly to break the board, but he ends on a board state that isn't super polyable necessarily, so we weren't able to utilize it fully, and we got drolled, and Droll hurts the deck a lot. So that we just passed it back and kind of took the game 1 loss. Game 2, I was able to go first, establish the Rescue Ace board that was decent enough. We were able to control the tempo again, and we just took the game. Game 3, I lose because of time. So he was able to deal 200 direct damage to me, and I don't play a burn card. Lureless Assembled Nightingale prevents him from taking battle damage for the turn, and by the time I got rid of it, it just was too late. Didn't have an imperm, didn't have any of the Rescue Ace traps to be able to just negate its effect, so we end up taking the loss by 200 life points. It sucks as it is, but that's how it is. Time rules suck, whatever. Because yeah, I definitely had advantage, but it was a cheese win. Cheese wins happen. You know, that's just the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! That's how it goes. So we're down, but we have 4 rounds left, so we're still optimistic. So far the deck is piloting okay. Maybe not playing 44 was the right call. We aren't seeing a lot of things our way, so maybe we'll just take out the Veilers and the Called By realistically, so that way we can just stick with the as much engine as we can, and just rely on impulse to really get into Fire Attacker for drawing, and engine to really just get our plays going on our opponent's turn. So we'll see. I think that's maybe what the list will look like. Maybe even dropping the Super Poly package. But Super Poly is really good. Maybe siding Super Poly out so we can play Droll in its place. But we'll see. We're still cooking, and I think after tonight we'll have a little bit more analysis. And it looks like we got round 2 going, so we'll see what happens there. Round 2, we play against Primate Magikey, and game 1 he goes first. He's able to set up his board, which is crazy, and then we were able to take it on the clapback. We were just able to bait through a lot, and then eventually take it. He said he messed up somewhere along his combo line that he could have gone even further, which I'll take. Game 2, he went full combo even harder this time. Was able to set up 2 Omnis, interruption, board wipe, / banish, and something else. We did have imperm, which if we had used imperm, it would have swung in our favor, but I just want to use it. And then we drew into like all of our engines. So it's like, okay, all the stuff that we would set, airlifter when we had Rhoda. So try to do things that would bait, but we board wiped, got rid of my stuff. We set rescue and extinguish past. He swung for battle, and I was going to go impulse, but I was like, no, we'll hold on for rescue for impulse. And then we top decked hydrant, greatest freaking top deck ever. We normaled hydrant. He went primary roar. We're going to extinguish and then impulse or rescue, so that way we could protect the hydrant. And then we just took it. We just clapped up. So we were able to take game 2. We're on 1-1. We still got 3 more rounds. It's going to be a long night and prepping for tomorrow. We'll see how well we can do continuing on. All right, round 3. This was crazy. We play against the Mirror. He is playing the Azamina Rescue Ace version, so he's playing a little bit more of a higher end version than what my budget of the $100 that we're playing this deck under for. Game 1, we go first. We just do Rescue Ace things. We just control the tempo. We just outed everything, and we just take it. Game 2, played on his turn with Impulse. He may have had the Thrust, but Thrust didn't get him into much. We were able to just control the tempo again. We were able to go into Hydrant. We were able to bait. He had SP. We had the Emergency, and we just took it. So 2-0 sweep against the Mirror, which, you know, we got it. Honestly, we had the right hands to play, and when we got the right hands, we can control the game. So we're 2-1 right now with 2 more rounds left. Doing pretty good. So the 44 did come up this one time. Game 1, round 1, the 44 was definitely questionable. We didn't see a lot of our engine cards that we wanted to see with the math. Same thing with round 2. Round 2, we did see a lot of the mathematical engine to get our game going, and none of the interruption cards that we do play. I am thinking about maybe swapping out Super Poly, dropping the Azamina, Sirathon, however you pronounce that card, out, and maybe replacing it with a Typhon. Because there were some times tonight where Typhon was gonna be a key card, just so far in the 3 rounds, and I could definitely see that in the future. So that does up the budget a little bit, but we can make it work. But so far, so good. So we'll see where the next 2 rounds go. Round 4, we play against Sprite. Rank 2 spam. I have not played against Sprite in a really long time, so man, I was a little rusty, but game 1, we went first. We just did Rescue Ace things, kept control of the board, and just my opponent cannot out it. Game 2, he went first. He was able to set up his board. We had a very bad hand. We had Droll, which did solidify him for going even further, but a lot of the stuff he was going to originally search, he had in his hand anyways, so that helped him. But yeah, he was able to OTK me on the turn back. I had Emergency and Turbulence, and it wasn't going anywhere when he had Toad on the board, so we did not take it. In game 3, we just did Rescue Ace things again. He tried to clap me back, and nope. We had it all. We had all the answers, so we were chilling. We were able to take it in game 3. He wasn't able to push back to the board, and we just took it. So 3-1 right now. 1 more round. We'll see what happens. Whew. Round 5. We play against Branded. So the rematch, a couple nights ago, weeks ago, whatever. Game 1, we go first. Yeah, we go first. He goes first. We can't play through. He got into Branded Fusion. We didn't have the Ash, and we couldn't just break the board. So he takes game 1. Game 2, we go first. We do Rescue Ace things. We set 4 pass, and we just annihilate. Game 3, he makes me go first, and we go to set up our board, and we set it. He attempts to break it with a Nibiru, which is fine because that was on next turn. But we just break. We do a lot of back and forth. Time is dwindling down. It gets back to me. I have left him with nothing. We create our board. We attempt to move towards battle as time is being called, and we get roll sharked. And Judge ruled in my favor, so we moved towards battle, and we were able to take game with enough damage for 8,000. So we had a night X1 4-1, which is really great. So I'm loving the list. 44, as controversial as I still think it is, I think it's the right way to go. And I think we're just going to stick with the list and just see what happens tomorrow. Super Poly came in clutch at times, the hand traps, the board breakers, it was all good, it was all good. So that's it for this local diaries, everyone. Stay tuned for the regional event that we'll post after this video, maybe alongside it, and we'll see you in the next one.